Welcome to the evening news. I'm your host, David O'Reilly. Our headlines tonight. The latest Ireland Thinks, the journal opinion poll for European elections in Ireland taken on May the 27th, 2024 shows Fianna Fáil at 18%, Fine Gael at 17.7% and Sinn Féin at 17.4%, down 5.6% from April. Support for independents and smaller parties has increased from 17% to 23%. And in a letter addressed to RTE Director Kevin Backhurst, four nationalist political parties, the Irish Freedom Party, Ireland First, National Party and the Irish People, have accused RTE of breaching Rule 27 of the Code of Fairness in election coverage. They allege deliberate exclusion from debates and zero media coverage on RTE platforms, calling it an attempt to subvert the electoral process. The letter demands immediate compliance and an investigation post-election, citing non-compliance with the sections on airtime allocation and diversity of viewpoints. The parties warn that continued non-compliance may lead to legal enforcement under the Acts of 2009 to 2022. We'll be going shortly to Gearoid Colmáin, our international correspondent, to talk about Donald Trump's conviction for felony. But first, polls may be indicating housing and immigration are the hot topics for candidates making their bid for first-time election, but we go to three sitting councillors to ask how they feel citizens are responding to their campaign for re-election.
Councillor Declan MacDonald, an independent candidate standing in the Galway City East.
Councillor Frank Fahey, I'm a native of Minlaw, up on the banks of the River Corrib, and I'm a Fine Gael councillor since 2011.
So Neil McNeilis, I'm a city councillor for the Galway West Ward. I've done 3 terms to date, and I'm with the Labour Party.
There is a lot of anger out there in the sense that people are frustrated. Reliability of the bus service. And because of the traffic, until we get the outer bypass in this city, which is only 20% of the solution, we will never improve the traffic situation. People, when they see one area improving, they want the same for themselves. And certainly Galway City Council should be doing a planned basis of that. The issues like housing, the issues like affordable housing in particular, taken so long, and the government could improve the situation by giving the staff to Galway City Council to proceed faster. Planning is a huge issue. We're taking 3 and 5 years for planning applications for sites to be finally approved and got through.
They want a bypass, they want the city bypassed. We originally planned to have the bypass completed in 2004. 2014 we went back to the drawing board. Here we are in 2024 and we're no closer to getting it. We're wasting hours every day and we're adding to our carbon footprint. If we built the bridge, we would eliminate the amount of carbon. It could, balance itself by actually taking cars off the road. You can never judge how long it's going to take you to go across the city. That is one of the biggest issues that's coming up on the doorsteps. And another issue that's coming up on the doorsteps is in around the city centre, the dirt of some of the buildings and the dereliction.
Well, the doors aren't being answered. This is the big question that a lot of us are having. This is right across the country. So there's 1 in 6 doors were being answered in the last couple of weeks. And now gradually there's a lot more doors being opened. I don't know if there's anger out there. I don't know how to describe it. I think there's a lot of kind of distrust at the moment in politics, but there's also a lot of anger in the sense that people are really, really worried about housing. They're angry about the transportation system in Galway. And they're disappointed some of the ways the country is going at the moment. I think after COVID, I think people have really kind of changed. I mean, the housing crisis is definitely coming up because of the amount of kids that are moving home to their parents' houses. And then you're looking at, a worker who's doing a low income job, trying to do his best. 2/3 of his income going to pay for rent. There's no chance. So they're the voters I've met. So I don't know, is it anger, is it disappointment, it's fear? There's a lot of fear out there. The big thing as well is the cost of living It's beginning to bite now. And we're telling people this is about the local elections. It's not about the national elections. You know, you can hold your fire on that, but like it's really like, if we're going to talk about local issues, that's what we're trying to grab them at the doors with, you know.
I got an exceptional vote the last time. I believe that I will retain a lot of that vote, but it is a more difficult election this time than any of the others I have fought.
I don't know. I really don't know. I hope it is. I mean, I've worked really hard since 2009. I've had the opportunity to be in student union politics, worked with President Higgins, and on 3 separate occasions my vote went up. I'm the only member of the Labour Party this side of the Shannon, so we're hoping that we will actually get some gains across the city for the party. But I would hope it's up there. I mean, we've put the workload in for it, and we've worked very, very hard the last number of years, but you just don't know until the last day. I mean, every election you're starting off with one definite guarantee, that's your own, and after that then you're fighting for every other one of them.
I would be very confident that my vote will actually increase. In my first election, I didn't get elected in 2009, and then I was co-opted in 2011. And when in the election in 2014, my vote doubled, and my original vote has trebled in the last election. And I know from the feeling I'm getting on the ground and meeting to people, I have a good work ethic. I've been involved in a lot of other projects in my own area. I'm big into the restoration and that, and working with residents to actually better our communities. And our Ladies Boys Club, you can see here in the background, they live in their place is in at the back here. I got them funding 23,000 2 years ago. Small outfits like that, a small amount of money means a lot to them, and it's gone back into the community. Like, you know, they have quite a number of young people from the city, and they're working at the moment and bringing in the new Irish, the young people that are, some of them in direct provision, and some of them who have come in from Ukraine and different parts of the world because of wars and all that, and working with them to make them feel safe and wanted and needed and involved. And we have to work on integration, and they're doing fantastic work on that here.
Now social media has really taken a huge part of this campaign. You're getting into people's minds. You can do targeting of ads. You can turn around and specifically target, you know, the areas that you want. You can even actually target a certain estate if you wanted to. That leads to an awful lot of other stuff. So then you have to be very careful of your mental health, because you can be attacked so much online as well by keyboard warriors and just people who really just are nasty and never going to vote for you in the first place. Secondly, I suppose, is that people think it's open season on politicians. We're all human. And the thing is that, like, we're running Helen Ugbu. Helen is a woman of colour. The abuse that she's getting online, just because she's a woman and she's a woman of colour, is absolutely staggering. We've been really minding her to get her over the line. The media are doing their best job, but there's so much free media out there, and there's so much unchecked media, that we need to be very careful with that as well. And just the big thing is just making sure people get out and vote. And one thing I'm really excited about this election is that we've always prided ourselves in Galway to be a city that's diverse, that multicultural. 30% of our citizens of the city are born outside of the country. They all work in the city, they go to schools in our city, and they're going to be really actively involved in voting this time around. I'm really excited to see that. But the big thing is get out and vote. 50% of the voters don't bother turning up on the day, and that's something that we have to make sure that we get a really high turnout, because this only comes every 5 years.
We're only getting about 25% of the doors opened, and that's probably a lower figure than previous years. But I would say that those that we've got on the doorsteps to engage with us, it has been a very meaningful exchange. It's 20 candidates in this area. It will be a difficult election for us all, and I just hope that I'm one of the successful ones. Why does it take us so long to provide the necessary housing for so many people, young people who are trying to get on the housing ladder? And even the social housing, we've over 5,000 families on the list. They're the situation. Health, believe it or not, in spite of the hospital problems, is not coming up as much on the doors. But what is coming up is the cost of living, and people not having the funds in their pocket to do what they did 10 years ago, 5 years ago. The area deserves its share of social, private and affordable housing, so that we have a balance, and we must have a balance to give people a proper sense of living and quality of life. If you do the statistics going back, 70% of people in this city owned a house, and 30% depended on the local authority. It's probably gone 50-50 now, because the cost of the house have gone through the roof. You have rents in this area between 2,000 and 3,000 for a 3-bedroomed house. That was 1,000 5 years ago. So the rents are gone through the roof. The government will have to tackle it. I have individuals coming to me on a daily basis now, can you get me somewhere to live? Because I'm living on a couch. And that's an issue that needs to be tackled strongly by the government. And the other issue that's coming across is the Irish citizen who's been here all their lives should be treated equally against everyone else.
Well, I suppose every campaign you do, and this is my 4th one, you get more experienced, and I've done a lot of the campaigning on the ground myself. I'm a Fine Gael councillor. We've been in government since 2011, and we haven't done everything perfect, but you can't do everything overnight. When we went into government, there was the economy was on its knees, and people were immigrating, and things were down in the dump, and we worked on getting the economy back right. Now we're working on the housing. It's a massive issue. Housing is a massive issue we're working on, and we have the problem that we haven't enough people to actually do the work. The cost of materials have gone through the roof, but we're working on it. It's going to take time. Getting things done. I don't court publicity. You came to me today, I didn't come to you, and I don't court publicity, but I quietly go about getting things done. After the last election, the controlling pact on the City Council, that's the majority that come together to control the mayors, the chairs and the budget, was made up of all councillors bar Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil. So we were left outside. After 2 years, that pact fell apart, and I successfully put a new pact together that took control of the council, took control of the budgets and the mayors and that. When you control the council, you control the budget. You can then decide where money is going to be spent. And, it's very important. You can't do anything without money. You can be in opposition all your life and you can shout and jump and say, demand this and criticise. But it's when you have your hand on the budget that you are actually able to decide how the money is spent. I want to make the city a better city. I want to make it easier to get around. I want to see more cycle lanes. I want to see the bypass built. I want it to be a safer city that people can walk, sit near a square 24/7 without fear of being assaulted and that, and stuff like that. I want more public toilets so that people aren't urinating in the street, and I want cleaner streets, and I want our business community to work with the City Council to clean up places. And if you look at the building we're looking at here, it's been derelict for the last 20 years, just recently been purchased. It's a listed protected building.
Well, I'm a dad and I have a business in town, and I really believe that if the town is doing well, then my own business will do well. If the town is safe, my kids are safe. But also we live in the most beautiful part of Ireland. Galway is the coolest place to live. And we've after COVID, I thought people would become nicer. I think people, really kind of closed the doors on each other for a while there. I think we have to really enforce community. That whole metal idea, and that's to me is what politics is about. It's get out there, talking to citizens, finding out what their needs are, and then working with the community to deliver those needs, and coming up with compromises as well sometimes. But it's great fun. I mean, politics is actually a really cool job if you enjoy it and you don't mind the begrudgers. President Higgins always said to me is, not everybody's going to vote for you, right? So you represent those that vote for you, but you also represent those that don't vote for you, and you try to do your best for the city, and that's all I've ever tried to do.
I'm in politics a long number of years. I enjoy it. Since last December, I have found myself in very good form. I found the canvass extremely enjoyable. I love politics. As a 16-year-old, Bobby Malloy brought me into politics. I wrote envelopes for him a long time ago, and I learned all my trade in the political game from a man like Bobby Malloy, and Lord have mercy on one of the greatest TDs and ministers we ever had in Galway.
Donald Trump has been convicted for felony in the United States. What does this mean for his chances of election in November?
I think it probably will help him more than anything else, because it will further entrench differences in the country, and Trump needs to sort of drum up support, particularly pushing the idea that he is opposed by the so-called deep state. I think this won't damage Trump's chances really. I think it will, but it will further, I think, divide the country. The Biden administration is incapable of governing the United States. I think Trump is going to capitalize on that in this election. He's going to show that the president is essentially non-compos mentis. He is not capable of even making the most rudimentary statements without contradicting himself, and he's basically not fit to be president. The fact that the Democratic Party are running Biden again is an indication of the sheer decadence of the US leadership at this time. All of this will play, I think, into Trump's playbook. I think this will favor Trump very much. The question really now is whether he will succeed in getting RFK, Robert Kennedy, as his co-runner. Kennedy has already said that he was approached by Trump, but that he turned it down. We don't know yet whether he will change his mind or whether there will be a major turnaround in this election. It would be interesting to see an alliance between Kennedy and Trump in terms of particularly the approaching pandemic treaty that Trump says he will oppose. He said he will pull the United States out of the World Health Organization. Of course, then it's a question of how Kennedy would respond to Trump's opposition to the Paris Climate Accord. There were many problems there, but I think the overall, I think this will play into Trump's favor. I think it will show that Trump is opposed by the deep state, and it will rally his supporters.
And Gearoid, there are increasing reports of bird flu spreading throughout the world. What do you make of this?
Well, they clearly want to target the production of healthy food, and growing children need milk, they need cheese, they need dairy products, they need eggs and chicken. And if you have a major destruction of the food supply, then you will have a situation of social chaos. And of course, there's no better way to control the population than to control the food supply. So I think the goal here with this H1N1 avian flu scare is to basically launch another pandemic and then basically crack down on anti-vaxxers, so-called anti-vaxxers, and vaccinate the entire population. This I think is what this is about. Whether I don't think there is any danger. These avian flus have come and gone, never really been a major problem. This is spreading, this story. So the question is, will it become, the main story again, and are we heading into a new pandemic? Of course, this comes just at when the World Health Organization is pushing the pandemic treaty. So we can expect in the next few months. Now they have been delayed in this treaty, so they are still pushing it. So maybe now they will launch a major pandemic scare campaign in order so that the populations can be propagandized by their governments into accepting the pandemic treaty, which of course will give full powers to the World Health Organization. It will become a de facto world government, which will be capable of basically giving orders to a country about how it is to behave. We saw that during COVID. It's just that they didn't have the kind of executive power that they are now trying to arrogate to themselves. And this is what the treaty is about. There are countries opposing it. We already covered Slovakia and, of course, the assassination attempt there on the president after he opposed that treaty, and other major EU and US foreign policy objectives in Ukraine. So I think it would be dangerous for anyone to oppose it. Most of the leaders in the world who opposed the pandemic treaty or the COVID lockdowns mysteriously died. So you had John Magufuli in Tanzania, you had Pierre Nkurunziza in Burundi, a very popular leader, suddenly mysteriously died, and others in Haiti and so on. So there was never any investigation of those mysterious deaths, but this is a very serious issue. I think if these reports continue, then we'll probably be in for a major propaganda campaign before October.
Could you see another pandemic interfering in the American election?
Well, I think the time to launch that is now, because if Trump gets into power, I think he will deliver on the WHO. He delivered on the Paris Treaty. He said he was going to pull out of the Paris Climate Accords, and he did, which meant, of course, would make it very difficult for the formation of a world government. That's what the Paris Climate Accord is about. It's about creating the global consensus for carbon taxes, which is going to be the new fuel, if you like, of a world order. The carbon credits and the absolute surveillance of everything you do in terms of carbon and the trading of carbon credits. This is part of the new social credit system that they want to bring in globally, where everything you do, almost your breathing, will be measured. And the fact that Trump pulled out of that would strongly suggest that he's going to pull out of the World Health Organization as well. So I think that the coming months we will see increasing pandemic scares, new stories of bird flu and other types of viruses and so on, in order to propagandize the population and perhaps to persuade the population of the United States to vote Democrat rather than Republican. I think that's a certainty.
Thanks very much, Gearoid.
Hello and welcome to the Weather with a Hum. Let's have a look at the weather forecast for the weekend and the upcoming week. High pressure will bring settled and mainly dry conditions throughout the day today. We'll see plenty of sunshine, though it may turn a little hazy later in the afternoon as some cloud builds across the northern counties. Temperatures will range from 16 to 20 degrees Celsius with light northerly breezes. Tonight will stay dry and largely clear with just a little scattered cloud across northern counties. Expect light winds and lowest temperatures between 5 to 9 degrees Celsius. Saturday looks set to be another fine and dry day with plenty of long sunny spells. There will be just a touch of cloud at times across Ulster. Light winds will prevail with highest temperatures ranging from 16 to 20 degrees Celsius, warmest across Ulster and South Leinster. And Saturday night will be dry with light winds. Cloud will build in the northwest through the night, but elsewhere we'll see long, clear spells. Lowest temperatures will range from 5 to 9 degrees Celsius. And according to the latest models, high pressure will continue to dominate on Sunday, bringing plenty of dry and sunny weather throughout the country. Temperatures are expected to reach between 17 and 21 degrees Celsius, making it a perfect day to be outdoors. Sunday night will become dry apart from some patches of light rain over Ulster. It will be cloudy over the northern half of the country with clearer spells developing further south. It will be a mild night with temperatures not going below 9 to 11 degrees Celsius. Looking ahead, we can expect the high pressure to keep things mostly settled, with mild temperatures continuing into the start of next week. There will be some spells of sunshine and the possibility of a few showers, but overall it's looking like a pleasant stretch of weather. Something we love to see is the care people have for city green areas. As you can see, these are some strawberries growing wild. So focal na seachtaine is Sú Talún for strawberry. Can you see those ripples in the water? Could it be fish or maybe some frogs? In the coming weeks, we want to see what our viewers love the most about their local natural areas. We here at The Hum invite all our viewers to send in a photo or video capturing the essence of their locale. So that's your weekend weather forecast. It's shaping up to be a beautiful few days ahead, so make sure to get out and enjoy the sunshine. Slán go fóill.
In summary, we had a brief roundup of the news, and with 1 week left to the election day, we looked at the Ireland Thinks Journal poll showing Sinn Féin support down and independents and others polling up. 4 new parties have accused RTE of excluding them from debates and receiving zero media coverage. And looking forward to next week, we'll be doing an Election Day special with continuous coverage of the European and local election results as they emerge from the count centres around the country. And with Donald Trump convicted for felony in the United States, we asked Gearoid of Colmáin, what does this mean for his chances of election in November? And we considered the reports of bird flu spreading throughout the world. And as we approach midsummer, we take a glimpse at nature with Tara, and we heard all the weather for the coming weekend. I'm your host, David O'Reilly, wishing you a weekend in the sunshine, and do tune in again next week with The Hum. Iha mahi gev.